Coming soon from Deadites on Deck, Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel will rock his way into your heart for birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, or any old time. Available with or without sound. Visit deaditesondeck.com today for the hottest new plushie from Pyro Plushies and Evil Dead Chick.
Take out the trash. Why? There might be something delicious in all that slop. Put out the air fresheners. Place a clothespin on your nose. Let's dig into the cream of the crop. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch.
Howdy, gang, and I didn't change my font again. But welcome to yet another edition of Celluloid Trash. And we're going to be talking about a couple of movies here. Slugs from 1987, directed by Juan Piquer Simon. Yeah, that guy that did Pieces and also Extraterrestrial Visitors. And Slashdance from 1989. And you're going to hear my thoughts on both of these films here in just a little bit. But the poet, I see you're in here, so I'm going to get out those movies so you can tell me which one of the prize packs you want, because nobody else, entered. So I'm giving you your choice. But I have a little friend here with me. And this is, well, his glasses are a little bit crooked, I think. Try to fix them. This is the first official Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. And you can see he's got a cross necklace on. He's got the sunglasses. He's got the hair and everything. And he is a pretty big little dude. He's over 17 inches tall. And these are soon going to... DeVoe, you say, who wins 100 mutant slugs or Jason? I think Jason would still win because he'd probably take a machete to all those slugs. But these are soon going to be making their way to the Deadites on Deck horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. Like I said, they'll be available with and without sound. And like the commercial said, now, before I tell you the cost of these things, folks, keep in mind that I have overhead cost. It costs to purchase the things to put this little Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel or this big Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel together. So before you slam me for having a high price tag on these things, you got to think of the material, the overhead cost. And if I'm going to be able to make a profit, I got to upcharge these a little bit. So, so if you're thinking about maybe getting one for yourself or somebody else, these stuffed ones without the sound will be $75. The ones with the sound, and they will have a lot of stuff on there. They'll have songs and sayings and all kinds of different things. Those will be $100. Now, again, before anybody slams me for that's outrageous, Dana, for a stuffed animal. Again, please think of the time and the cost incurred in putting one of these together. I urge you to go on Amazon and see how much this stuff costs. You know, plus I have my time because I have to attach the wig to him. I have to, you know, and I had to trim this wig. It took a little bit of time to, because this was a human size wig. It wasn't a stuffed animal size wig. So, but I'm going to put him back over where he has been sitting so he won't fall over and get all messed up. I mean, they're not going to be that easy to mess up, folks. I'm not saying that, but I'm just mainly trying to keep my Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel all nice and neat and tidy. I don't know why he's not sitting up right now. So, okay, so I finally got him sitting up again. But those are soon going to be making their way to the Deadites on Deck car shop. So if you're interested in them, when I get the sound working, he's my personal Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. So when I get his sound box all set up, I will, you know, bring him on again and show you how that's going to work. You say you don't blame me for the cost. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that some people understand. People that create things and, you know that it takes time and material to make something look, you know, halfway decent. And, you know, kind of be something unique. And I think Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel is something unique. And, you know, some people understand, some people don't. Some people just think you're price gouging, you're trying to make a killing. Seriously, folks, it would take me selling a lot of these to make a killing. Trust me, because I'm only upscaling them enough to make, I don't know, approximately $20, maybe $25 per unit. So trust me, I'm not making a killing. The majority of the cost that you pay for this is going to go for the materials. So I'm glad, like I said, at least some people understand. And now I'm going to, before I forget, I'm going to get these prize packs out. So that the poet can tell me which one he wants. And then I'm going to put my email address in the chat, the poet, after you choose which one you want. And I'll set the one that you want aside. And that way, when I give you the email, you can privately send me your address so that I can get these mailed out to you soon. So the first prize pack, we had Night of the Creeps, Night of the Demons, Nightmare on Elm Street, Picnic at Hanging Rock, the Criterion version, and Sorority House Massacre. So that's the first prize pack. The next one has a lot of Halloween movies in it. So we got Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Demons 2. I may have to cover this up a little bit to prevent me from getting in trouble. And Toolbox Murders. And then the last one one of these discs has a couple of movies on it, so you kind of get a bonus if you pick that one. So we've got Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the 70s, Mother's Day, Play Misty for Me, and the one that has a 2-pack of movies, When a Stranger Calls, the original When a Stranger Calls, and Happy Birthday to Me. So you don't have to decide right now, the poet. I mean, even I can even, like, if you just want to think about it, I will put my email address in here. That way you can send me a private email. You say you picked the first one because of Night of the Creeps? All righty. That sounds good. So just send me your address, your mailing address, the poet, to that email address that I put there. That's my Evil Dead chick one, and I'll set this one aside so that I remember that that's the one I'm going to send out to you. And thank you so much for, helping me get rid of some movies that I need to get rid of. Like I said, I guess I'm going to have to do a trivia contest or a caption contest or something like that to get rid of these others. But let me go over like the upcoming programming here real quick. We'll get a little bit of housekeeping stuff out of the way. So tomorrow night, the poet, thanks to you, I'm going to be doing a series on Pete Walker, the films of Pete Walker, called Psycho Road Trip. And I'm only going to be covering like his horror stuff. So he did a lot of short films. He did some adult films. But I think, for the crew that watches my stuff on Deadites on Deck, you're probably going to be more interested in the horror slasher stuff. So tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be covering Die Screaming Marianne and the Flesh and Blood Show, directed by Pete Walker, for the first episode of Psycho Road Trip, the films of Pete Walker. We're going to go way back in time on Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for a horror movie rewind for Psycho from 1960, the original Alfred Hitchcock classic, starring Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. And Thursday night will be another They're All Messed Up, and I'll be talking about The Killer Reserved 9 Seats and People Toys and the kills in each one of those, because, yeah, that's what we do on They're All Messed Up. And going a little bit ahead in time to November the 21st, don't worry, we're going to have some programming in between times. But it's going to be another Evil Dead Chicks slumber party. This is going to be Evil Dead Chicks, A Nightmare on El Dorado Avenue slumber party. And hopefully a bunch of us will be watching the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, from 1984. And Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And be sure to bring your best sleep attire. I'm going to be hopefully having a new Nighty Nightmare sleep shirt for the occasion. And make sure you bring your stay awake pills and your caffeine and all that, so you can stay awake for the 2 movies, and so Freddy doesn't get you as well. So we've got all of that coming up very shortly here, folks. So before I get to the movies, I do want to remind everybody that, yes, I reached my milestone. Actually, I went over my milestone of 1,000 subscribers. I've got 1,010 subscribers, But hey, I want to keep going. I want to keep this party going. So there are several different ways that you can support me and the channel, and it won't cost you a dime. And one of the ways is by subscribing. Now, I don't have a contest going on now, but hey, I appreciate those of you that subscribed. And I will appreciate any future subscribers. And as always, I appreciate my current subscribers as well. And as much as I appreciate super chats and super stickers and people joining my channel and people joining my Patreon, those things I appreciate a lot, a whole lot, folks. But I always like to tell you about the free stuff too, because I know that especially in this day and age, not everybody is made out of money, right? So what's another way that you can support me in the channel? It won't cost you a dime. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content coming out. Hit that like button on stuff that you especially liked. And hey, if you like everything, hit that like button across the board. It can't hurt, right? It can only help. And here's one other way that you can support me in the channel, and it won't cost you a dime, won't cost anybody you tell about the channel a dime. Share my channel handle with any friends and family members that you think might be interested in the content that I'm putting out. Okay. And I'll do you a solid. I will put my channel handle in the chat. Dead Ice on Deck. All right. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to these movies. Okay. So the first one, is I going to cover, can you remember, folks? Yeah, Slashdance. I don't actually have a physical copy of Slashdance, so I have a picture here. Isn't that lovely? That chick's barely got anything covering her boobs, right? So I don't even think that any girls have any of those outfits on in the movie. So guys, don't get too excited. All right. So of the two movies tonight, folks, Slashdance is indeed celluloid trash, folks. Just plain old trash too. And I'm going to get to that. Acres of Movies, you say, have you seen the drama Sleepers? That one, I don't think I have. Acres of Movies. I know of it, but I don't think I've watched it. And so I guess that is a no in answer to your question. What is Slashdance exactly? I mean, it sounds like it'd be an awesome movie, like even an awesomely bad movie, but you know, I remembered once I started rewatching it again, I was like, oh yeah, I remember watching this gym with Steve. And so you have these girls that are coming to be dancers in some kind of show that's coming up. Okay. And you see this girl go into a theater and she's like, is anybody here? Is anybody here? You know? And then somebody takes a saw to her neck. And it's just all very clumsy. And, you know, you would think with a title like Slashdance, there'd be some really cool killings and things like that. I mean, this ain't even a so bad it's good. It's just bad. Just bad, bad, bad. And I had forgotten how bad until I actually went back and we rewatched this before doing the stream. So you've got pervert, you know, sergeants at the police station who ogles one of his cops who, after the death of her sister due to drugs, she really wants to take out crime. And her name is Tori, but he her sergeant insists on, or captain, maybe it's a captain, insists on calling her Victoria Reigns, and she says it's Tori, but they have this whole back and forth. And then there's her partner who, obviously looks older than her, but he takes up for her and stuff. And he's a married man, but he keeps wanting Tori to go out with him. Then you have a guy, Rupert, who is basically, he goes out and flashes women on the beach, but he's head of this production where these dancers are coming to dance, and a lot of them end up getting killed. So you got a bunch of kooky, offbeat characters, including the young guy you see behind the girls there holding a knife, who I'll just come right out and say he's a red herring all the way, folks. And y'all could probably pick him out in a lineup. If you had a lineup of red herrings or a lineup of killers and one of them was a red herring, he would stick out like a sore thumb because he's a moron. He sits and eats goldfish, these poor little goldfish out of a. It looks like he went to the pet shop and got some goldfish, or he won some at a carnival, and you know how they put them in those little plastic bags for you to take home. He takes them while he's watching the girls dance. He just starts eating them, and he's he's just so stupid. I don't know if there's supposed to be something wrong with him, or that's just overacting, or but it's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. And some guys might get something out of it, but I don't really recall any nudity being in this either, despite what you might think by seeing this poster here. But yeah, I'm just not. Thank goodness it was only an hour and 23 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube if you want to, but trust me, folks, when I say this one is bad, 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 all the way bad. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, excuse me, folks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating. And, I really, I can't give this one any more than 2 deadites out of 5. And I think that's being generous. Just, like I said, it's not even a so bad it's good movie. It's just, bad. But moving on to the next one, which I do have a physical copy of, is Slugs from 1987, directed by Juan Pierre Simon. This is the Arrow release here. I absolutely love Slugs. I don't think of Slugs as celluloid trash. Some people might. Hey, Gory Tiger. But I have so much fun every time I watch Slugs. Now, I didn't get time to rewatch this one, but I've seen Slugs so many times that I am well versed in it. You thought I was going to give it a negative rating? Well, I don't really have a negative rating to Poet, but those 1s and 2s, I almost gave it a 1, but I thought, oh, okay, I'll give it at least a 2. But so Juan Pierre Simon is a Spanish director. Like I said, he did Pieces in 1982. This is Mutant Slugs for this one. So you've got a rural community that a lot of the residents are dying in under strange and gruesome circumstances. And it turns out it's because of these damn mutant slugs. For instance, this one guy, how you can eat a salad and not know that there's slugs in it, I don't know. But, why ask questions about a horror movie? It's horror movie logic. And I've talked about horror movie logic a lot. But for instance, this one guy eats a salad, his wife fixing a salad, and then a few days later, he's at a business lunch, and I think he's at a business lunch, and he's been having headaches. Okay, so you may be wondering, okay, if the slugs were in his salad and he ate the salad, where did the slugs go? Well, apparently they went to his brain, and his head ends up busting open, and all these slugs come out. Spectacular, folks. If you're a gore fan and you're into that kind of stuff, Slugs is just fun. Kind of like, The Nest with the cockroaches and stuff like that, or something like Shivers from Cronenberg. If you didn't know Juan Pierre Simone did this one, you'd almost swear it was a Cronenberg movie, because it is quite a bit body horror. So, I mean, it's not a real serious movie, but I have a lot more fun with it than I do Slashdance. And here's another thing, I had forgotten about this, but I think I read the book years ago. This is based on a novel by the British horror author Sean Hudson. So you might want to, if you're interested in reading the novels that movies are based on, you could probably look up this. eBay might have it. It's under the name Slugs. And it is like a creature feature. But like it says on the back here, you get that added dose, like a dollop of Daisy. You get a dollop of gore into this, and it just makes it all the more fun. It makes it more than just a standard creature feature movie. And it's an animal attack movie, folks. Slugs, I mean, they're animals, right? So I definitely love Slugs, if you haven't figured that out by now. And I would definitely have to give this one 5 deadites out of 5. Absolutely love Slugs. You may be able to find Slugs on YouTube or Tubi. Let me see if it's on. Now, I know people have done kill counts and all that stuff. No, you can buy it or rent it, but it is for free too. Shauna the 80s has put Slugs on YouTube, so you can definitely check it out there. There's somebody else called Boo Davis that has a version on there. So I would just take a look and find the better the better version and watch that. Yeah, I would try to show y'all this, but I'm afraid that they would get me for even showing this clip. But basically, the guy starts bleeding from his nose and mouth in the restaurant and falls on the floor, and like the slugs start coming out, they burst out of his eyeballs and stuff. It's just fantastic. It's just grand, folks. I ain't even gonna lie about that. But out of the two, feel free to watch Slashdance. In fact, I would love to hear everybody else's thoughts on Slashdance as well as Slugs. So apparently you can watch both of them on YouTube for free. Just do a search for them. and you should be able to find them pretty quickly. But Slugs was definitely my favorite of the two for tonight's films. But I guess that is it for me for now. But I'm going to thank The Poet and Gory Tiger and Acres of Movies all for being in here in the chat with me tonight and keeping me company. For those of you that were watching along that maybe didn't feel comfortable being in the chat, I want to thank you as well. And for those of you that didn't have time to watch as I was doing this live and you watch it on the replay, I thank you as well. So I'm going to get on out of here for the night. But as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Don't forget to check out all the programming that I've got, past, present, and when we get to the future stuff. And I have put up a new, I put up a couple of commercials for the Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel official plushie, Pyro plushie from Deadites on Deck. It'll be coming soon to deaditesondeck.com, so keep an eye out for that. Me and Steve did a post-Halloween We Watch Movies. That is up, and a lot of other programming coming soon and on the channel now. And so I'm going to get out of here, but I want to remind you too, if you love Ozzy as much as I do, get out there and blast some Ozzy and try your best to live the Ozzy way. And what do I mean by that? I mean, don't stay stuck in the past, folks. Move forward from the present into the future and never, ever give up on your dreams. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.